welcome to the Mindfulness broadcast. It's lovely to be here with you all again. So,
Mm,
we're going to talk today about something from neuro-linguistic programming, something that I learned. I did this training pre-COVID. Um, it's called NLP short. There's lots of uses for NLP, some for good, some for not so good, for manipulating sales, but it's kind of got this bad stigma. But NLP, neuro linguistic programming, is a way with which we purposefully connect our brains on purpose to the lives that we want to live, and how we can use certain words to activate parts of our brain or certain stimuli to activate parts of our brain. So, we can do that with ourselves, and we can also do that with other people. So, of course, I always use it for good, I promise. Really thinking about ways in my coaching practice how I help myself or how I help others really get into a state and a mental mindset that prepares them to do what it is they want to do, to create a brain that helps them create new ways of being. So, we're going to utilize a particular practice called anchoring this morning. And what we do with anchoring, I'm going to kind of give you the information on it so you can go out and practice it. And then we're going to utilize our meditation practice this morning to do a little bit of anchoring. But essentially, what we're doing in anchoring is we are creating an external stimuli. So it might be the pinch of an ear, it might be thumb and forefinger together, it can be a word that we say, a sound that we make. It can be, it's just something, it can even be a smell. Want to be careful with that one because you might not have access to it all the time. So it's something externally that we are doing to create an internal state of being. So something we're doing externally to create an internal state of being. So, and you can think, we might already do this, or we do already do this. You might hear a song and immediately feel energized because it was connected to a certain experience, or profoundly sad because it's connected to grief or an experience you've had. There's a smell, and when you smell it, you're immediately taken into this emotional state because of what it is connected to, right? Those things are really powerful for us. The way that it's used sometimes in sales and marketing, they say, like, if you're going to sell your home, for example, bake an apple pie in it prior to having it shown. And that smell for many people activates this sense of home and comfort, right? So it's ways that we can utilize that um, for our own well-being. So what we do to do this in real life, out in the wild, outside of the broadcast, um, you know, let's say you're in a meeting and you're in it. You're focused, you're really listening, you feel like you are practicing active listening really well, curiosity, you're asking really great questions. You just notice you're at this place where I would say it's kind of the peak of your performance or the peak of your experience. When you notice that and you go, wow, this is an internal state I want to be able to tap into more frequently, you practice your anchoring. So I'm noticing that I'm going to pinch my ear. I'm noticing that again, I'm going to pinch my ear. I'm going to do it a couple times while I'm in that state. Or it might be sometimes you might not want to pinch your ear because maybe that's too visible, especially in a Zoom world. Maybe you're just pinching your wrist or applying a little bit of pressure, but it's the same experience every time. So I'm at the peak of this performance, I'm at the peak of this experience, the peak of this emotional state that I want to be able to return to. And I'm going to anchor it physically into my body. Or I might say something to myself like peace or presence or whatever it is, calm, mindfulness, some word that resonates with you. And then what happens is we do that a couple times, and maybe we do that a couple more times when we notice it, and we're beginning to connect this feeling with this emotional state of being. So now maybe I'm in a meeting and I didn't eat before I went, I didn't have protein, maybe I had too much caffeine, I didn't sleep well, and I'm noticing that I'm drifting, I'm distracted, I'm on my computer, I'm doing things. I can purposefully press and activate that sense, that connection in my body. So using that external stimuli to remind my brain, remember what happens when I press on that, and we're able to go right back into it. We do this in our practice a lot. It's why we get into this kind of physical place in our practice, in our meditation practice. We have an upright body, we lift the crown of our head. We do these things because when I'm in a meeting and I'm slouched over, I can re-anchor that sense of presence by just getting back into that posture, right? So lots of ways that we can help ourselves be who we want to be and how we want to be purposefully, and create states of being purposefully, building a brain that can get us there. So let's practice anchoring this morning. Before we get into that practice, I do want to remind you we have a really great Launchpad Lead workshop coming up in the middle of April. It begins April 17th. We've got a few spots left. I just put the flyer in there. If you're interested, let us know. You can register through OETA, Oregon Employment and Training Association, or you can register directly through us. So with that, let's get into our practice. Close your eyes. You can take a soft gaze and just let all those words roll around in you and find a place to land. And we're going to first get ourselves into a posture that helps us remind ourselves of the value of this moment, of the opportunities, building resilience, all that we do this work for. So we're going to make sure our feet are flat on the floor. And of course, all of our bodies are beautiful and unique in their own ways. So do whatever you're able to do in your version of this. So feet are flat on the floor. Might take a moment to press your heels in if you can. Press your pinky toes in if you can. And then press your big toes in if you can. Imagining a triangle on the bottom of each foot. And finding the balance point in that. And then if you can, almost imagining just this connection, this deepening of those points of contact to the earth. Just really grounding. And then feel that same level of connection. I'm assuming most of you are sitting, so you can kind of move side to side and front to back. Feel the sits bones. Feel where your center of balance is, where you can imagine your spine is resting in your pelvis, balanced and strong, held by those core muscles, not tense, but just attentive, just energy. There's something going on, kind of energy. And then we're purposefully bringing that energy up the spine, feeling the crown of the head lift. You might find that your chest lifts just a little and your chin tucks just a little. And then as you inhale, rolling those shoulders, placing your shoulder blades on your back. Your shoulders are down and in their sockets. And then decide what your anchor will be. Perhaps, again, it might be pinching of your earlobe, a soft pinch. It might be pressure on your wrist. You might decide it's a word that you're going to say, and you'll remember. Decide what that is. And then throughout the rest of this practice, as you find yourself present, able to be with your breath, able to observe your wandering mind, like water over a waterfall, you'll just press that anchor, aiming to do it maybe 4 to 5 times throughout our practice. And when you're ready, bring your breath in, keeping your posture, imagining there being just an open straw from your head all the way to your belly, where you're just bringing the breath in, filling the lungs. There's no obstructions. And then breathing the breath out. Breathing in deeply and fully, and then breathing out completely and fully. And our practice will be just to stay with this breath, allowing it to return to its normal flow. Staying with this breath. Remembering to anchor, applying that pressure, saying that word, whatever your anchor is. If you find that during this practice you aren't able to ground and to be present, that's okay. That's normal. That is a regular part of our practice. So just tuck this away and practice anchoring as you're able. Following the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing when your mind wanders. Lovingly bringing your attention back. You're doing really well. Breathing in, breathing out. Relishing the simple and sometimes not so easy practice of just being with our breath, being present, honoring your very busy brain and all of the problems it's trying to solve and simultaneously creating, just honoring our humanity. And when you're ready, we'll begin to close our practice. So we're bringing our energy back up and into our body. Again, just realigning the grounding of our feet, the strength and energy up our spine, our shoulders, reminding yourself of the emotional state of being you're tapping into with your anchor and this powerful tool you have. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Beautiful work, everyone. Be well, anchor, and notice. See you next week. Bye.